up this antioxidant that are also identified within our skin. So it's very biocompatible, and it specifically helps maintain your evening of your skin tone. And last, but certainly not least, and something you'll see throughout the entirety of these offerings, is the Byungpo leaf water. So this Byungpo leaf extract is going to provide all the benefits it does in your skincare products. We have that anti-inflammation, hydration, maintenance of your hyperpigmentation, and of course, antioxidation, if I didn't already say that. Now, with the Sheer Glow BB, it can be used on its own. It can be mixed with your sunscreen. It can be applied before the Luminous Glow Cushion. All you realistically need is just enough to cover the surface of your face. And so that's why we don't specify exactly how much to apply, but just a thin layer is sufficient to get that nice coverage for not only the aesthetics, but for the skincare coverage as well. Now, we'll get into something that's a little more exciting in regards to reformulation and in terms of newness. And of course, that's the ICD Beauty Luminous Glow Cushion. Now, this is the new and improved somewhat 40 luster cushion. I almost don't want to say it's previously the 40 luster cushion, because this formula is so different, not only in its finish, but in its key ingredients as well. And when we approach the discussion of these key ingredients, just know we still are staying intact with our determination and our ingredient obsession in terms of omitting harmful or toxic ingredients. So with the creation of this new ICD makeup line, we're still omitting over 3,000 different ingredients as deemed toxic or harmful to either the human body or to the environment. And so now also, as we begin to open up further markets in 2025, we're just going to incorporate those regulatory bodies into our overall monitoring system as well. But with that in mind, the ICD Beauty Luminous Glow Cushion has an entirely different finish. Similar in regards to the hydration you feel. It's not suddenly a matte foundation, but it's beautiful in regards to it has more staying power. And that's probably one of the greatest notes to take from this new Beauty Luminous Glow Cushion, is that we looked at the global preferences of finishes specifically on coverage products. And from that, we came towards having a more staying power with this product. We increased the micro powders and formula so that you get that nice even coverage without settling into any of your lines, but otherwise it doesn't budge. You can't scratch your face and immediately remove half of your makeup. And furthermore, the even more important thing is we now have 5 shades in the formula. So we have from 17 fair all the way to 27 deep. And I've gotten a couple of questions of, in comparison from the 40 luster cushion to these, what is that shade that 40 luster cushion was? I would say it's closest to 21 light is what the 40 luster cushion provided. So we have a lighter shade rather, which is my shade, in 17 fair, and now we also have deep. And the further thing is that there's still possibility to include even more shades as we get more feedback from the field, and as you begin to interact with these formulations, we always hear your feedback and we always incorporate that insight into our future innovation. But on the basis of the Luminous Glow Cushion and its key ingredients, we have some new things to point out. But of course, we still have that giant Byungpo leaf extract. So similar to its performance in the Sheer Glow BB, you're getting that antioxidant coverage, that hyperpigmentation reduction, and reducing the appearance of fine lines and wrinkles as you do in skincare. And so as you are wearing this product all day, you're still just getting a maximization and a synergy with your skincare routine. That second ingredient, Philanthus urinaria extract, is often used to enhance your skin's health and its appearance, but it specifically has anti-inflammatory properties as well as soothing properties. So really looking towards maintaining your skin's innate health, such that when you finally go to wash this product off at the end of the day, your skin still feels comfortable. It doesn't feel like you were wearing makeup for 7 or 8 hours. Last but certainly not least, the snow mushroom extract. The snow mushroom extract is a fantastic ingredient, and certain dermatologists even believe it's more powerful of a humectant than hyaluronic acid. If you'll remember, humectants are essentially molecules that attract water to the skin and also evenly distribute water throughout the skin's layers. So when you look at hyaluronic acid, that's binding water and that's layering water throughout the skin. This is going to be similar for snow mushroom extract. It's going to maintain your skin's hydration, but also reinforce your skin's barrier. specifically in its performance, or certain clinical studies have found that it not only smooths fine lines appearance, but it also helps stimulate wound healing. And by no means do I say that you should put your Luminous Glow cushion on top of an open wound, but with that in mind, that's useful to know, especially for those that perhaps have acne lesions. But with this product, you just need to apply the thin layer onto the entirety of the face, either with using the included puff, or if you prefer a sponge or even a brush, you may certainly do so. And the important thing to note with this product too is you aren't confined to your typical shade. If you want to pick out your coverage shade for the entirety of your face, but then a highlight shade, perhaps in a shade lighter, or even a contour shade in a couple shades darker, you can play around with this makeup because it's going to blend nicely on the face as it is the same formulation. And so that's the excitement with the new Luminous Glow cushion. Not only does it have now a semi-matte finish, has 5 more shades and new key ingredients as well. So say you've put on your makeup, either your Sheer Glow BB, your Luminous Glow cushion, or perhaps both layered. Now it's time to set it. And that, of course, comes with our Set and Stay makeup spray. This product's fantastic. I've tried a lot of setting sprays out on the market, and this thing really works, but also works for your skin. Now, what's unique about this product is it can be applied before your coverage products and after. Before as sort of a primer to adhere to those coverage products, and then after, of course, to set everything in if you have any powders you've applied or blush, etc. But no surprise again, giant pimple being that first key ingredient, bringing in the anti-inflammatory care, hydration, and antioxidant care. But then these next two complexes, lotus leaf and cedar leaf complex, and the lotus extract itself. Lotus extract specifically is beautiful for the skin. Not only does it strengthen the skin's barrier by enhancing the production of ceramides and lipids, which, if you'll remember, are key building blocks in the structure that maintains your cells tightly packed together, but it can also help relieve irritated skin by providing anti-inflammatory benefits. Lastly, certain reports suggest that the lotus extract can help soothe and purify the skin by minimizing the appearance of pores. And last but certainly not least, with many natural plant and flower extracts, you get antioxidants and fatty acids from these phytonutrients, as phytonutrients. So this is going to help your skin repair itself, protect itself throughout the day, but maintain overall skin health in general. Last but not least, this peony flower extract, further antioxidant care, anti-inflammatory care, and certain studies suggest it actually may boost collagen maintenance. And this needs to be further studied, of course, but just knowing all the potential benefits of a natural extract is so powerful in understanding that you're otherwise using it for makeup. You're using it to set your makeup. But with this product, it is so much more than that. So to use it, as I had mentioned, you can spray it before you apply your coverage products and then after. And we suggest roughly 12 inches away from the face and closing your eyes and mouth just to inhibit yourself from breathing it in or spraying it directly into your eyes. But with any Remon product, we always do eye irritation testing. So if you do get in your eye, just know it's not going to cause a serious reaction in that regard. But this is one of those products I'm so excited to have on the market next week on the 16th, because it truly is so useful to have in terms of your skincare and your makeup. Now, let's transfer on to the lips. And so this was really the exciting thing. This is what we had mentioned last year at our training event, and then we really held true to it at our convention this last month. But our lip products are fantastic. They are so exciting. And these are one of those products that we kept getting versions of, kept giving minute feedback on until we found the perfect formulation. And with that, we started with the ICD Glow Up Lip Oil. This lip oil is fantastic and multi-use, as I had mentioned. So one of the key notes about this product is its plumping effect. And now it's not plumping in the sense of, if any of you are familiar with the Too Faced lip injections where it burns your lips and so they're that irritated that they literally start plumping up, it rather has not only menthol that has a cooling sensation and attracts blood flow to the lips for a plumper appearance, but the specific oils we have chosen in formula have a refractive index that allows for light to be reflected off multiple angles of the lips. And so that gives the illusion of plumper lips as well. So where you have the physical sensation of the menthol, you also have the formulation ingenuity in terms of making the lips appear fuller. Last but not least, we again have the Anemorrhina asphoideloides root extract in this product as well, that also is thought to maintain structural support via moisturization of the lips. Now, what's key about the lip oil in its multi-use is that it not only can be used as a shine and a lip gloss during the day, but it can be used as a lip sleeping mask at night. Because of that hybrid skincare technology, you get the aesthetic benefits you may need during the day. You also get the skincare benefits you may need during the day, but it's important to also infuse your skin with nutrients at night as you sleep and as your body does its various cellular repair processes. And so it's a perfect thing to apply to your lips at the end of your nighttime routine, just to really seal in the hydration and moisturization, as your lip skin is thinner than many other parts of skin on your body and on your face. Now, with the specific look into the ingredients of the Glow Up Lip Oil, giant byungpul being the first ingredient, anti-inflammatory and antioxidant benefits for more protected and comforted lips. But then, as I mentioned, we also have the Anemorrhina asphoideloides root extract. So this is a natural plant extract, but it maintains that visual appearance of plumpness. Next, we have vegan collagen. So this is specifically collagen created through yeast fermentation, and it creates a similar amino acid chain to that of human collagen, and that creates high bioavailability. Your body recognizes something very similar to what it already has. By no means does this then get absorbed and become structural collagen in the lips, but what it does do is easily absorb for moisturization of the lips. Collagen loves water. It's one of those humectants that binds to water and attracts it to the lips. So in the performance, the lip oil is really going to maintain the hydration of the delicate lip skin. Last, and very uniquely, is the aquaceramide. These aquaceramides are specifically ceramides that have been microfluidized. If you'll remember, microfluidization is how we create the nanoliposomes of the Radiant-Sum 100 line. So these ceramides are run through a microfluidizer processor to create very small particles. Typically, ceramides are much larger particles, and the inclusion into a formula means that the formula may be murky or otherwise appear opaque. And so we wanted a translucent lip oil. Utilizing those microfluidized ceramides means they're extremely small. They do not create that opaque appearance, but they're still reinforcing your lip skin barrier. Now, with the use of this lip oil, it's whenever you see necessary. So not only can you apply it over lip products, you can apply it on its own, and then of course you can apply it at night as a hydrating lip treatment. Now, a little treat was specifically the aquaceramide. So this is a patented ingredient included in this formula, not by Remon, but by one of our partners. And we actually have a little bit in more depth information on the performance of these aquaceramides. So you'll see here basically the reinforcement of not only your skin barrier, but of hydration of the lips via the maintenance of your skin barrier. On the left here, we have the aquaceramide's water loss reduction features. Now, water loss through the skin is often measured via TEWL. This stands for transepidermal water loss, essentially water through the epidermis or through the layers of the skin. Typically, in a testing situation, this is encouraged, or not encouraged, but it's basically manipulated is what the word I was looking for. So to create transepidermal water loss, they do what's called tape stripping. They stick a piece of tape to the skin and they rip it off, and that strips the skin. And that often leaves it susceptible to more water loss through the skin because the skin barrier has been compromised with that stripping. Once they damage the skin barrier, they assess the transepidermal water loss before and then after applying a variety of different therapeutics. And so as you can see here with the transepidermal water loss graph, we have a variety of different therapeutics. We have a placebo, we have a predispersed ceramide, and then the aquaceramide is this blue. And so as you can see, this was the reading for the water content of the skin before the tape stripping. After the tape stripping, we immediately had a spike. There was a greater increase in losing water through the skin. And as you can see with the aquaceramide, it's the one that fastest went back down to almost baseline. So the quickest to return to hydrated levels. This is quite in depth on the science. And so really what we're looking at here is that it's able to reinforce the skin's hydration and the maintenance of hydration in terms of transepidermal water loss, which we easily lose water through our lips, again, because it is such a thin layer of skin. This second picture here depicts specifically the skin barrier repair properties. In this instance, we incited inflammation to the skin and then assessed red spot formation. The test materials were applied on damaged stratum corneum. So basically, we manipulated the skin to be damaged and then applied the aquaceramides or applied the placebo or the predispersed ceramide. So as you can see here, the control is N, and then we have the placebo as P, predispersed ceramide is A, and then B is the aquaceramide. And we are measuring the anti-inflammatory effect. And as you can see, the aquaceramide at just 1% far surpassed the placebo and the predispersed ceramide in terms of its anti-inflammatory effect by roughly 50.7%. So reminder, this is a raw material performance test. This is just on its own before it's in formula, but it's unique to see the science behind the inclusion of every single ingredient, why we chose every single ingredient to go into these formulations. And again, I know how in-depth this science is, but really looking at what's going on with your ingredients is so powerful in understanding how they may be different from the other lip products you have. All right. We'll then transfer on to the butter lip tint. So the butter lip tint is actually what I'm wearing now. I know the light just turned off, but I'm wearing Evening Rose, which is a semi-matte color, but we launched 3 semi-matte shades and 4 velvet matte shades. And what's beautiful about these products is that the color is beautiful on the lips in terms of an even coverage, doesn't settle into the lines, but even if it eventually is rubbed off either mechanically and that you did it or just throughout the day after talking and eating and drinking, you still have a stain to your lips that is just as beautiful as that initial coverage. And of course, with that hybrid skincare, we're going to explore a little bit more about these key ingredients, some of which are shared with the lip oil, but specifically some are unique to the lip tints. Now, what's unique about the lip tints is the multi-use potential. Not only can you apply these and leave as is for a bold shock of color, but you can apply and then wipe off after 5 minutes for just the tint. Some people just prefer the tint. That's sometimes certain days I only prefer the tint. And so you absolutely can do that. Or you can even utilize the tip of the doe foot applicator to outline the outer rim of your lips. So a couple different ways in which you can approach these products, but beautiful nonetheless. And so we'll first take a look at the velvet matte butter lip tints that we launched. And as I mentioned, we launched 4 shades: Signature Red, Symphony Pink, Desert Heat, and Nude Lush, which is what the model is wearing in this photo. We have that giant byung pool, we have that vegan collagen, but now we're introducing hyaluronic acid butter. And as I had mentioned, many companies, when they do hybrid skincare, will do hyaluronic acid. Well, we had to do a bit different. So we did hyaluronic acid butter. This is specifically created by putting low molecular weight hyaluronic acid in a butter formed by using 2 types of plant-based oil. This ingredient is easy to apply to cosmetics, including a lip tint such as this, because of that oil dispersion. So typically hyaluronic acid is a water-soluble ingredient. You need to have a water-based formula, but because of the specific moisturization claims we wanted with these products, we wanted to ensure they weren't drying, even though they were matte. We had to look for a hyaluronic acid counterpart that performed in an oil-based system. So that's what you get with the hyaluronic acid butter. Next, we get apple seed oil. This is maintaining skin moisturization. There are various different saccharides that help attract moisture to the lips, but then you also get those phytonutrients from apples. They're not only rich in vitamin A, but vitamins E and C for antioxidant effects. And remember, once again, your lip skin is fragile. It needs that protection. Last but certainly not least, we have the Theobroma grandiflorum seed butter. Simplistically, this is just going to moisturize. This is just a nice thick butter that adds a little bit to the formula's stability, adds a little bit to the sensory experience, but also adds to your skin barrier fortification. Now, using specifically the Velvet Matte Butter Lip Tint, you can do it exactly as I detailed. You can leave it on, you can dab it off after 5 minutes. But with this one, you're really going to get that luscious matte look without a dry feel. And that's what I love about these products is your lips don't feel parched, and they really do feel, for lack of a better term, velvety. That is the only really term that we could think of. And so, of course, had to become its name as well. But it's just smooth without dryness. And the sister product, of course, is that semi-matte butter lip tint. Now I'm wearing, as I mentioned, Evening Rose. The model in the photo is wearing Dusky Mauve, and then we also have Brick Red. Now, same main ingredients as we had just detailed for the Velvet Matte Lip Tint, but the finish of this product is much more unique. So it's much thinner. And when you apply it, you can do layers if you so like, and you're initially going to have a sheen to your lips, but it too will begin to dry down and have that velvet matte texture and appearance as well. So sometimes it can be a preference on viscosities of your products. If one feels too heavy and you want a lighter feeling, go for the semi-matte. Sometimes it can be simply a color preference. The color you want is in the velvet matte shade, but realistically, the difference between the two is the viscosity is really where you're getting the difference between the two, is because this one is much thinner on that application. But to really finish off the discussion, of course, that giant Bianpool we had mentioned previously, and we've gone through all the details of what these are doing for the lips, but specifically I had mentioned that seed butter. So once again, we have performance testing for the seed butter as well as supplied by the raw material supplier. And so this one specifically, test one, was on a 7-hour moisturization test in which 20 test subjects were given 2 types of body lotion, either containing the seed butter or placebo material, and the skin moisture was checked after 7 hours. And you'll see the placebo is in purple and that seed butter is in blue. And so beyond the Theobroma glandiflorum, which is the scientific name, it has an actual name, but I looked up how to say it and I just could not say it. So for some reason, Theobroma is easier for me to say, but that's what is the blue line. And as you can see in comparison over that 7-hour test, the placebo didn't do much in regards to increasing skin moisturization. But not only did the seed butter increase moisturization in just 2 hours, but it maintained it relatively through the 7 hours of the test. So not only does it increase moisture, but it maintains it. And that's what's important, because you can have a variety of different things. Even licking your lips increases hydration for a short moment, but that's the key. It's for a short moment. So you're looking for something that maintains that moisturization for a therapeutic effect. On this next test, we're looking again at the skin barrier fortification process. And so same instance, 20 test subjects, 2 different formulas, one with and without the seed butter, and they were checking moisture loss. They were checking that transepidermal water loss. And so you can see the placebo is in orange and the Theobroma seed butter is in pink, and there is much less water loss in comparison to the placebo by that 7-hour mark. So you're really helping maintain a little bit of that skin barrier in terms of reducing the hydration that is lost through the skin barrier, either due to it being disrupted or for some other reason weakened. But overall, when we look at these 2 tests for that seed butter, we are looking at moisturization and skin barrier fortification of your lips. And that was a lot. I hope that eventually you get to try out these products and really see that difference for yourself. And whether or not you are honing in on the key ingredients, just know that these products are designed to make that remont difference, but in an entirely new light, in the light of cosmetic care. And if this has just created more questions for you, good thing we have a call next week. So next week, we're having another Tradition Meets Innovation call, again, typically off the books, but this is an ICD makeup Q&A, and it's a live Q&A. So it's still a webinar setting in the sense that you can't come on and verbally ask the question, but you can type it in the chat, you can type it in the Q&A, and I will answer your question. So again, it's next Wednesday, April 16th, 5 p.m. Pacific time, and there's the Zoom code here, so I will pause. But please know we will also put out a flyer for this at the We Are Remont Instagram page if you are wanting to send out to individuals to invite them to join us on that call next week. But again, next week is also the official launch of these products, so I hope you get your hands on them and that these questions really allow you to interact with these products in an entirely new light. But without further ado, I'm so grateful to you all for listening to me speak on the science of this. I'm truly so excited. You know me, I just love ingredients. I love talking about what makes Raymond different at the basis of a formula, which is the ingredient selection, and even at the finishing of a formula with the eventual use by a consumer. I have been so pleased with these formulas. So cannot wait for you to try them or buy them next week. And without further ado, I hope to see you at the call next week. And of course, have a fantastic Wednesday night. See you then.